Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, fellow speakers, good morning. We look at the church as, in a way, male-dominant. Our priests, deacons, altar boards, and so on are all men. But women have made a huge impact in Christianity. For example, the earliest Christian communities met in people's houses. They didn't have churches yet for quite some time. And throughout the New Testament, particularly Paul's letters in the book of Acts, we find out that women owned the houses in which the early Christians met. Although it may not have seemed as a big deal, this probably gave them some avenue to power in the church. Those who could offer their home for meetings were considered important within the movement and assumed leadership. Throughout the Bible, Mary Magdalene is certainly one of the characters who appears a lot in the Gospels. Mary Magdalene comes to be thought of as a repentant prostitute. Now, why this would have a great appeal to early Christians, I'm not entirely sure, except that she is an example of somebody who is a very notable sinner and yet repentant. When Jesus Christ is crucified by the Romans, Mary Magdalene was there supporting him in his final terrifying moments and mourning his death. She also discovers the empty tomb, and she witnesses to the resurrection. When Mary goes to the tomb, Jesus' body is no longer there. The fullest account of Mary's role after discovering the empty tomb is in the Gospel of John. She is in a state of shock and returns to where the disciples are gathered and tells them the news. When she reports to the disciples, she is not believed. Peter and another disciple return to the tomb to see for themselves. She was there at the beginning of the movement that was going to transform the world. Jesus' resurrection was a turning point for Christianity. This was when it changed from a very small movement to a whole new religion. And Mary Magdalene was a key figure in this event. See, not only is she a key figure at this event, but since the whole story of Mary as a prostitute who is fallen and redeemed is a very powerful image of redemption, a signal that no matter how low one has fallen, one can be redeemed. Galatians 3:28 is a verse that in particular is seen by Christians as a fanfare of freedom for what historically has been oppressed by three groups: racial minorities, slaves, and women. In Jesus Christ, there is no slave or free, no Jew or Greek, no man. This is a statement that has had enormous influence on contemporary Christianity, particularly in the feminist branches in Christianity. Christians consider the verse's phrase, all one in Christ Jesus, to say that within his church, in Christ is the one sanctuary or protected place where there are no longer any secondary distinctions of race, national origin, slavery, or gender. We as Christians conclude that a true benefit of being a Christian, then, is that all are one in Christ. By the time Paul began his missionary movement, women were important agents within the different cities. The Pauline letters mentioned women such as Chloe, Euodia, and as well as Phoebe. We see in the Gospel according to St. John that there stood by the cross of Jesus his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene, John 19:25. Nevertheless, all his disciples who followed him, learned from him, and were very close to him for 3 years, were conspicuously absent at the foot of the cross, within the exception of John the Beloved. The loyalty that these women exhibited to the Son of God was second to none. This alone qualifies them to be, in a way, the church's backbone. Genesis 1-3 sets the tone for God's purpose for male and female. The account begins with forming both man and woman in the image of God. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. This fact automatically separates men and women from the rest of the created life forms as unique and special, and assigns both male and female human beings a certain kind of dignity and value that is not given to the rest of the things God made. This is a complementary view of the male and female relationship that says while men and women are equally valuable, fully deserving dignity and respect, they're designed with complementary purposes so that they might fulfill what the other lacks. The prototype of faith, love, service, humility, and knowledge, among other virtues, is the Virgin Mary herself. She managed to combine the virtues that both Mary and Martha had, especially faith, love, and service. She served as Christ's son and cared for his needs as would any good mother. She learned from him every opportunity she had, despite the fact that she did not understand what he had said in every instance. As you can see, women have had a huge impact in Christianity from the beginning of the church, and without them, we wouldn't be where we were today. Thank you.